Who's the first person to label you a conservative commentator?
I actually think it might have been Alex Jones.
I
think because that was the first show I ever did, was his show years ago, and I think like the title of it was like trans conservative commentator, and I was like, fuck.
Oh no,
I'm like, now,
Alex, you son of a bitch.
I know. I'm like, I get how that benefits you, but now I'm like, then my Wikipedia page, how that, I'm like, fuck. But like, if anything, I'm more so center right. But like you said, it's like if you don't have friends from all over the spectrum in every area of life, what kind of life are you really living?
When I first met Alex, he was getting arrested for protesting George W. Bush. When George W. Bush was running for president, he was talking about all the ties that George W. Bush had to like elitists and globalists, and that they wanted to start wars and do all these things. Like, he was a guy that was attacking just people that were in positions of power that were corrupt or that were doing illegal things. Like on the campaign trail, I think it was. That was like one of the first times I ever saw him get arrested.
He's more so, in my mind, if you just like erase all the labels you put on people like an Alex Jones or even you or me, it's like if you just take away all those labels and what society is describing them as, to me he just seems more like an anti-statist than anything. To me he's just more so that. I mean, I know he's definitely more right, but he just seems to rail against the state more than anything.
Yeah, and he's fucking hilarious. The dude is hilarious. Like, he's one of the funniest guys. Like, when he goes on Andrew Schultz's show, like, Jesus Christ, he's funny.
He's funny as fuck. After the last stream we did with him in it, I just kept having these recurring, like, PTSD, like, visions of hearing, child rape, I've got the documents, blah, blah, blah. Like, just over and over again. It's so funny.
Well, he used to always tell me about this Epstein shit. He told me about it more than a decade ago, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And he was like, there's a fucking island. They take him to this island. They compromise him. They have hidden cameras. They get him all liquored up. And then they bring him around, these beautiful women. And they don't know. They probably don't even know that these girls are underage. And next thing you know, they got video of them fucking these underage girls. And that's how they get policies passed and this and that. And they have all this dirt on people. And then they bring in other people to the fold. And they'll reach out. They'll try to bring other people in. Like, really?
Flash forward.
Yeah, I was at the time. He was saying that. I was like, this is crazy. This is one of them crazy things that he says. But then I remember Bohemian Grove, because he was always talking about Bohemian Grove. Like, there's a place they go. They worship Moloch, the owl god. They have these guys. They dress in robes.
The impression. I can't. Yeah.
When he was saying that, I was like, what? There's a fucking... They worship an owl god?
But that's why it sucks so much that he went so hard in the paint with Sandy Hook and with the... What's the name of that pizza place that he
Did he
was
go
saying?
with Pizzagate?
Yeah.
He went in with Pizzagate too?
Yeah, he did. Oops.
I'm telling you, though, this, like, his perspective is so skewed because a lot of times, first of all, the guy feels like very alone, right? He feels like people shun him, and, you know, he's alone with all this information, and he's constantly drinking, at the time at least. And he feels like he has these moments where he can't tell what's real and what's fake because there's so much that is real. When you find out all this shit about, like, Fuck Island with Maxwell and Epstein is real, when you find out that the government really did do a thing called Operation Northwoods where they're planning on blowing up a drone jetliner and blaming it on the Cubans and arming Cuban friendlies and having them attack Guantanamo Bay and kill American soldiers, and they were going to blame this on Cuba so we could go to war with Cuba. He was telling me about that years ago too. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then you read about it in the Freedom of Information Act, and you're like, oh my God, this is all true. This is all true. Like, all he does is do that all day. His whole day.
And that's the problem when you lean really heavily into the conspiracy side of things, you start to lose sight of what could be real and what could be fake. And that's what's so sad is, like, he is disregarded because of those things he got wrong. But you can't be a public person and talk for a living, especially about these types of issues, for as long as he has, and not had some fucking things you were wrong about. I've had things I've been wrong about. Though. Yeah, his were big.
The thing is about, it's like little kids getting shot is the worst thing you can be wrong about. You know,
yeah,
it's the worst. That's the
worse.
problem. It's just, I mean, it's being wrong about a thing. It's not doing a thing that's wrong. It's being wrong about a thing, but it's still.
Yeah, but I still say he didn't fucking kill anyone. He didn't fucking rape anyone. He has a right to move on from these things eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I think. But I think what he needs, honestly, like, I tell him this all the time. Like, he says so much wacky shit, but a lot of it's true. What he needs is, like, a hardcore journalist. As, like, if I was running a network and I had a show, I would have Alex Jones with, like, some hardcore, like, objective journalist. and they would go over things. And Alex would talk about stuff, and this guy would pull up the data and the information, go, hold on a second, Alex. Let's look at this.
It's a good
and
show
then
idea.
he would try, like someone who balances him out, because he'll go off the rails. He gets deeper and deeper. They're trying depopulation. They're trying to ruin our lives.
Child rape.
They're trying to bring us into camps.
Yeah.
And you go, well, they're not going to bring anybody into camps, Alex. It's 2021. And then you watch Australia.
And then there's like camps in Australia where people are going because of COVID. It's like you lose your fucking mind sometimes when you realize that he is right about some of these
But then
things.
the Australians are like defending it. You don't understand our country. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a camp.
And
it's
they'll
no
post
big deal.
propaganda
it's nice
pictures.
Over there. Yeah.
Yeah, they posted propaganda pictures of like these like hot models like chilling, sun tanning, all this shit, and it's like
They're doing TikToks in the camp.
yeah, it's
They
like just
are.
some hot bitch in a bikini doing a TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's what is the difference between here and Australia is I think we have guns,
That is a big difference.
and I think that severely mitigates the amount of tyranny we can face. Although, if you would have asked me 2 years ago if we'd be where we are here, I would have said no
Well,
fucking way. This is America.